Good morning. Before we get started, please like and subscribe. Please share my channel. Please comment whether you agree with me or not. And I love seeing your contributions. I love seeing things that you add to what I have to say. That's awesome. So let's just get right into it. Happy Election Day. It's November 5th. And I am in the United States of America. And here we are. And, 2-3 years ago, I think we all kind of anticipated we would someday get to this day, but here we are. And it's kind of surreal because I don't watch a lot of news. I look at social media. I decided to just start to glance at social media instead of staring at it, especially first thing in the morning. But I did look at it this morning, and a lot of people were saying, finally we're here, because it's almost like the anticipation was just driving people nuts, and now we're finally going to get answers. And I almost feel like whatever the answer is, we're all just going to be relieved that we have the answer. So I think we're just so fatigued with the process that the answer is going to be a relief. But I wanted to share, I'm not a very hugely political person. I read about the candidates. I choose the candidate that I think is best. I am somebody who I look at the issues, and I make the decision on issues based on what I either agree with or what resonates with me. Everybody has a right to do that. We all vote based on our preferences, our perception, and what we think is best. So I wanted to say that everybody has a right to their own ideas, their own thoughts, their own perceptions, their own wants and needs. What we don't have a right to do, or what we shouldn't be doing, is hurting other people with our perceptions and our wants and our needs. We should never be intentionally causing people harm because we want what we want. We should always, at least, if there's something that we want and somebody else doesn't want it, either have a reasonable, rational, respectful discussion about it. There's even rational debate, It used to be called debate. People in my mom and dad's day and age were able to do that. They were able to have debates with their friends and family and disagree on all kinds of issues. And sometimes they came to an understanding of somebody else's point of view. Sometimes they adopted a different point of view. Sometimes they just agreed to disagree. And I love that phrase, to me, still stands. Agree to disagree. And people should be able to do that. But what people should never do is annihilate other people because they're not getting their way. And we saw a lot of that in this country. We see a lot of that actually around the world, where people are just causing other people damage and causing other people grave harm because they're not getting their own way. And that just shows character, or lack of character. And I think that a lot of people say things like, well, if you don't vote on this political side, then you are this, and this, because I believe in this, and this, and therefore you are, and they judge people based on which side they're voting for. But the Bible doesn't tell us to judge people based on who they're voting for, or what their issues are, or what their opinions are, or their views. But it does say it does say that, we do need to look at people's character, at people's overall character. And I see character flaws in other people, but I also see character flaws in myself. And I think that the only character flaws that we should be judging and changing are the ones in ourselves. We should be supporting other people in changing their character flaws. We should be in support of them. And when the Bible says judge, righteously and judge in love, that means to support people, support other people as in their journey of fixing their own character flaws. It doesn't mean to degrade them and try to force them to fix their character flaws in our timing. So I wanted to kind of get that out there. It's just something that came to mind just because, this is an election year, and every election year people throw out their opinions, and people not only throw their opinions, but they also either throw out love for other people and support of other people, or their hate starts showing. The cracks start showing in times like these. And as far as I'm concerned, I've decided that I'm not going to look around for people's character flaws. I'm not going to try to find I don't like your character, and I don't like the way you think, and the way you this or this or that. But when I see people treating other people horribly, what I'm doing is just stepping back from that. I'm stepping back away from people who treat other people horribly. And I just think that is a boundary. There are people who say, oh, you're so rude, how can you unfriend me? We've been friends, whatever. But if I see that person bullying somebody, and I've talked to them about it, and they won't stop bullying, and they just feel that bullying is okay, and it's in them, it is just in them to bully and to be a bully, that person and I are not on the same wavelength anymore. We're just not. And there are times when friendships, when it just comes to its course, it's just comes to an end because it's followed its course, and it's at the end of its course. So that happens in friendships, that happens in relationships. And I think that for me, a good way for me to be able to decide who I want to keep in my life and who is not on the same wavelength is how I see people treating other people. I don't judge people based on their political views. I don't judge people based on their, whether they think that certain issues are right or wrong, or whether they think that, let's just bring up this subject of abortion. That's one thing that a lot of people are saying, well, if you believe that, that people should have their rights, then I'm going to unfriend you because I don't like that you think that. As far as I'm concerned, and anybody's allowed to think what they want to think. I don't unfriend people for thinking what they think or believing what they believe, because we're all in a journey. We're all at a certain part of our journey. Our journey is, it's so personal and so individual that not everybody believes the same thing at the same time, is in the same place at the same time, but we're all learning, and we're all growing, and we're all developing as we go, all the way until the day we die. So, if somebody has a particular belief that this is right or this is wrong, and I don't agree with that, that's fine. They'll start to believe that it's what I believe, or they won't, and they don't have to. It's their life. I always like to say, when Judgment Day comes, we're all judged as individuals. It's not a group effort. So what somebody else thinks or believes, I might have a conversation with them. I might disagree, but if we're willing to agree to disagree, then we're still friends. It's when, like I said, anybody has a belief and is so impatient for somebody else to believe what they believe, and is so unwilling to bend on, it's almost like, I believed this 20 years ago, now I believe that. Over time, I realized that this is the way that I believe now. Now you believe what I used to believe. I expect you to get it like today, like right now. And if you don't start to shape up, like in this instant, then you're bad. Okay, let's not hurry people along. Everybody is moving along in their journey. That person may or may never believe what you do, but it's okay. The world's not going to end because people have different points of view. What happens though is, I almost said the world will end because people hate, but what happens is when people have different points of view and they start to treat other people horribly because of it, what happens is the love, I mean, we are love beings, we're light beings, we're not attack beings, we're not violent beings, we're not supposed to be demonstrating acts of violence. I just saw 11:11 on my clock. Acts of violence aren't who we are. Acts of aggression aren't who we are. It's not the beings that we are. We're peaceful, loving, kind, generous, thoughtful, considerate, respectful beings. Angels go to battle on our behalf, but they go to battle for our spirits, for our souls. They go to battle against the principalities of evil. Angels don't go to battle against other people, against people. Like, oh, you believe this, you're not getting it fast enough, I'm just gonna smite you. That's literally not what angels do. And I mean, I'm just talking about what the Bible says that angels do. If you don't believe in angels, that's fine, but I'm just talking about biblically. It's just whenever the division takes place, it's not a division of issues. It's not a division of human rights issues and human morality issues. The division doesn't have anything to do with where you stand on the issues. The heavenly division has to do with whether you love or whether you don't love. The fruits of the Spirit are the way to be able to tell whether someone is on a higher frequency or a lower frequency, or how that split is going to take place is by reading the woes. Woe to you, woe to you, woe to you, and woe to you. There are all these woes in the Bible. I don't have the verses memorized. I don't know where they are, but they're all the woes. And then we have the Beatitudes. We've got the fruits of the Spirit. And that is our measuring tool that tells us whether we're on the right side of Jesus or not, whether we're on the right side of life or not. Because the side of life that we want to be on is the side of the Beatitudes. Blessed are those who this, and blessed are those who that. Blessed are those who this and that, and the fruits of the Spirit are. And if we read those and we see that in ourselves, that's when we're on the right side of things. If we read the woes, then we're on the wrong side of things if we resonate with the woes. So, you know, the woes versus the Beatitudes, the woes versus the fruit of the Spirit, that's how we can tell what side we're on. And I'm actually going to start doing videos on that. I think that's a great idea to kind of elaborate on that. I really do want to share more on that, as far as where are you, what level, where are you? Because the split is starting to take place. And I do really believe that human hearts and human souls are coming together. Today is not a day of sadness for me. I really am not, you know, whatever the outcome of the election is, whoever the president ends up being, I'll still have a smile on my face. I'll still be loving other people. It's not going to affect me. It's not going to affect how I feel. It's not going to affect my life. It's not going to affect my joy. Whoever the president ends up being is not going to affect my joy, and it's not going to affect my love and my connection with other human beings. It's not. Because it's the way it's supposed to be. The world goes on. The world is what the world is. So that's why I see the world as kind of like a playing board for us to grow in character. And we don't want to be on the wrong side, on the woe side. We want to be on the Beatitude, on the fruit of the Spirit side. So that's a great measuring tool. That's all I have to say for today. I'm at 15 minutes. going to get into the office. I hope you're all having a great day. Again, happy election day. Everybody keep your smile, keep your joy. Don't let anything get you down. And I will see you next time.